I am ready to die. Sir William Kingston, the Constable of the Tower, received her. His own letters describe her agitation, laughter one moment, tears the next, as she was lodged in the royal apartments, the same she had occupied before her coronation. Mr. Kingston, do you promise me I shall not die without justice? Madam, the poorest subject the king hath justice. I thank you, Master Kingston. Then I am not to be condemned without trial, unless the jury has already had its supper with Master Cromwell. Her words were sharp, but her mood shifted quickly. She wept for Elizabeth, the daughter she loved with all her heart, fearing what her fall meant for the child's future. O Lord, help me, as I am guiltless of that whereof I am accused. I have always been a faithful wife unto the king. Yet, even in fear, Anne's wit did not desert her. When told she would be tried in the Tower Hall by a jury of peers, including her uncle, the Duke of Norfolk, and many known enemies, she gave a small, ironic smile. I am to be tried by my peers. Alas, they are no peers of mine, but judges over me. Anne's first night in the Tower was restless. Kingston noted she spoke rapidly, shifting from prayer to jest, as if her quick mind could not stop racing. Mr. Kingston, do you know where I shall be lodged? Not in the dungeon, I hope, for then you would have to fetch me out with a spoon. Her nervous laughter unsettled her keepers, but it showed her refusal to submit entirely to despair. Anne, Queen of England, had entered the Tower not as a sovereign, but as a prisoner awaiting trial. Thomas Cromwell, the king's chief minister, was the architect of the case against Anne. Historians record his determination to bring her down, describing her as a woman determined to have her way in all things. Yet Anne, sharp of wit, did not meet him meekly. Your Grace, I come not as a friend, but as the king's servant. There are charges set against you: adultery, conspiracy, treason. I defy anyone to prove me guilty. I never offended the king in thought or deed. Anne's words are preserved in accounts of her interrogations. She denied each accusation firmly, showing both indignation and composure. Your Grace, the court carry weight, and the king listens when the realm trembles for a son. So it is whispers that undo queens now. Then may God grant England fewer tongues and more ears. Even Cromwell, who prided himself on his iron composure, noted her quick wit. But Anne turned suddenly solemn, thinking of her daughter. My little Elizabeth, what shall become of her? She is so young, and now left to fortune's mercy. The child is the king's. She shall be cared for. Cared for? As her sister Mary is cared for? If Elizabeth is to live in my shadow, then God keep her braver than her mother. Accounts note her shifting moods, laughter, tears, and flashes of boldness. At one point, she laughed at her own plight, unnerving Cromwell. Well, Master Cromwell, I suppose you have arranged it nicely. I shall soon have a crown of my own, but lighter and shorter-lived. Cromwell made no reply. He had secured her downfall, but her words, barbed with wit and pain, would echo long after their meeting. On May 17, 1536, 5 men accused alongside Anne Boleyn were executed on Tower Hill: Henry Norris, William Brereton, Sir Francis Weston, Mark Smeaton, and George Boleyn, Viscount Rochford. Their guilt was widely doubted, yet their deaths sealed the Queen's fate. Mark Smeaton, the court musician, had confessed under pressure, though many believed it forced. The others maintained their innocence to the end. George, brilliant and reckless, spoke with composure. He did not confess to the charges, but admitted his faults as a man. Courtiers, whispering from Chapuis's dispatch, "There is no proof of treason, only of envy and ambition at court." Anne, confined within the Tower, was told of her brother's death and those of the others. Kingston, the Constable, recorded her grief. "O my brother! O Norris, Weston, Brereton, Mark! O Lord, have mercy on me, for never did I desire their death." Kingston noted she wrung her hands, lamenting most for her brother, with whom she had shared wit, confidence, and loyalty. "O my brother! God help me, as I am guiltless of whereof I am accused." Her anguish was sharp, not only for the men's deaths, but for the shame tied to their names. To be condemned with her was, in her mind, a stain that reached beyond the grave. "Shall my brother's blood cry out against me? He was the king's true servant. Would that I alone had borne this charge." Thus the queen, awaiting her own fate, grieved not only as a prisoner, but as a sister who had seen her family destroyed before her eyes. On May 15th, 1536, Anne Boleyn was brought to trial in the Great Hall of the Tower. 70 peers of the realm sat in judgment, presided over by her uncle, the Duke of Norfolk. The charges were adultery, incest, and conspiracy against the king. Anne, dressed in black damask and crimson, entered with dignity. Contemporary reports describe her composed, though pale, and many noted her fearless bearing. "Madam, you are indicted for having traitorously procured and incited your brother, George Boleyn, and others, to violate you most abominably, and for having conspired the king's death. How say you? Guilty or not guilty?" "Not guilty. If any man accuse me, I can say no more but nay, and they can bring no proof." She spoke clearly, denying every charge. Those present later wrote that she defended herself with a boldness that surprised even her enemies. "I have ever been faithful to his grace, and never wronged him in my body. For my brother and the others, if they be guilty, I am guiltless of it." Her words moved some of the spectators with her skill in answering, yet the outcome had been decided before the trial began. "I pray God save the king, and send him long to reign over you, for a gentler nor more merciful prince was there never, and to me he was ever a good, gentle, sovereign lord." Even in defending herself, she sought to protect Elizabeth's future by sparing Henry public blame. But when judgment was given, the truth of the matter was clear. The verdict had been sealed by politics, not justice. "Because thou hast offended against our sovereign the king's grace, the law of the realm is this, that thou shalt be burned here within the tower, or else to have thy head smitten off at the king's pleasure." Masters, I do not say that I have deserved death, but I submit me to the king's judgment, and if it be his pleasure, I am content. God have mercy on my soul." Anne returned to her apartments, thinking of Elizabeth. She prayed quietly, her wit and courage never entirely leaving her.